And there we are. Okay, so whoever watches this after the fact, I can't even see it yet because I'm using the GoPro 8, brand new. GoPro actually gave me 20% off. That's kind of sick. But I have to now go to YouTube to get the link to then put it on Patreon, so I can guarantee nobody's watching this real time. But I'm talking to you, the person who's watching this after the fact.
It won't stay on after?
No, it's on. The thing is,
like the live stream
oh yeah, I choose to keep them on because some members are gonna be asleep
yeah, okay.
and
At work,
yeah, drinking.
their real life.
If they're drinking, they're actually watching. Okay, here's the link.
Imagine watching you drunk.
What is it, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. on the East Coast? So
Yeah.
People drinking.
Yeah. Oh, it's Sunday, so they're also getting ready for work.
Wait, it's Sunday?
Isn't today Sunday?
On the East Coast?
Oh, East Coast is Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, wait.
Sign in with Facebook. See, yeah, of course. Sign in. Log in. You stupid. Patreon's making me. It's minute 14 in, and we're gonna go ahead and do a new post, live stream. I don't know why you show me that page every time. I'm gonna type and paste my live stream in, and there's my face looking down, and we'll call this prepping for carbon fiber drive shafts. Le Fibre. And now I have to patrons only. No, we're from the correct country. Publish now. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what's funny? Okay, it's exactly 2 minutes in, and it's 11:29. So I tried starting it the right time, so that way it would get on Patreon at the correct time. Let's see. I tried starting it. Oh, stop. Okay, turn off the voice because it'll go in circles. Got it. Okay, Sasha. Super exciting. This is actually this is one of the first times, Simon. This is the first time. Oh, hang on, Logan. This is the first time I'm doing it in 1080. Isaiah is ruining the live stream right now, but hopefully you guys can still hear me. I can't tell right now. Hang on a second. I feel bad because he's gonna be, yeah, doesn't it look great? Like, this is really live streaming. It's the GoPro 8. I got it early, not super early, but this is perfect for what I want to do. I want people to see this. Sasha, I'll take you on a tour of the progress, and you can see it in much higher detail. But we'll wait until Isaiah stops. Okay, there we go. So let's take a tour. Isaiah, I'm gonna the audio on this will pick up all that. So for the next couple minutes, if we just okay. So here we are. What we're working on right now is the engine mounts. It's really weird looking, and we'll get into that further. Oh, thank you. But that's going to hold the engine in place. We needed to get the engine mounts done because the diff, the front diff, needs to know where that drive shaft's going, and you can see it clearer than ever. That you can see. That's where the magic's going to happen. And what's really neat is I want to introduce you guys to Jake. He's one of you. He's one of us. And he actually he flew out to help work on the car. And he's been doing a lot of odds and ends. One of the coolest things that he's leaving a mark on this car is going to be the center of it all. You can see how that's all polished, brushed, and it looks beautiful. So that's going to be something that we're going to really highlight on the whole car. The center of the vehicle is just a thing of beauty. And I don't know, I'm very, very excited with how that turned out. I spent a lot of time brushing and polishing the tube. We'll get into some of the finer welds and whatnot. But one of the scary changes to in the last, we got about 2-3 videos to get the general public on, is I swapped diffs again, but this one's even beefier. It's out the rear of a BMW M3 or Z3M, and same shape generally, but it's a beefier case. It's got this mounting bracket, and it's got these ears over here. So the reason why I swapped cases, this one has the correct gear ratio like the rear does. So the front wheels and the rear wheels are going to spin at the correct speeds together. And I was like, well, I could take the ring and pinion out, or just put this beefier case in. And that came with its own challenges, including the fact that this is the ring and pinion is bigger. So that little bubble here had to be cut out, and we have to make a bigger one. Not the worst. You guys all know in the videos, if you've watched more recent ones, that's all ready to go. One of the things I was worried about is this right here. That could hit the carbon fiber drive or axle. We'll find out tomorrow, but it shouldn't, because the carbon fiber is 2.8 inches in diameter, so it's going to be pretty beefy. Well, it just is what it is, and I'll make that work. We spent a lot of time working on the engine. It's super square. The diff, everything is just square. We got the transmission mounted properly, and it was actually a little difficult, but the transmission's all mounted properly. Again, you don't want to make those changes if you're making diff or if you're making drive shafts. Okay, well, we make the drive shaft, and all of a sudden, oh wait, everything needs to move. We had to lock all that in, so it was kind of a painful process. Let's see. So let's take a look at let me show you guys more progress. Over here, we began showing you some of the footage of this. That's the intercooler. Oh, I don't think I've released a video. Shit. Which is buying me some time, and I'll explain that in a second. Intercooler and radiator are all connected, and they plug into this is. Jake, I might have you grab the front bash bar, and we'll mount it in. So look at this beautiful thing. This is going to be a thing of beauty. So we're going to go ahead and lock that. Let's go put it on the front of the car. This was also pretty difficult to come up with. We'll move the jack out of the way. Oops, sorry. It goes down here. We'll lock it in down there. Oh yeah. It's okay. It's going to be taking more beating than that. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit of welding things causes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just be careful, but we'll leave it right there. That is the front support for the lower support for the bumper. This is going to be just nuts. As you can see, these dimple dies here are where you slide the intercooler and radiator. Just drop them in, and they fit perfectly. There's plenty of room for the fans, bigger fans. The oil coolers will sit. We've got pieces. This one goes over here. These go right here. And then same concept, they'll be dimple dyed, and you can set the oil coolers onto those. So tons of room, tons of everything working out beautifully. What's going to happen is, this is a little controversial, but the oil and water lines are actually going to go under the car. The reason why, this car is 2.5 inches too high, and so we need to utilize that space. There'll be a carbon fiber or a titanium under plate, so it'll be protecting those tubes anyway. So let me take a look at the comments. Okay, yeah, the radiator mount came out nice. The whole front, I mean, look at because I can see the delay. Look at how the colors on those welds are just beautiful. Mounting them permanently. That's a good question. It was supposed to be done a while ago, to be honest. It was also supposed to be done where that would be able to mount onto my engine stand, so I could get the engine idling again and work on reliability of the engine. That side, the fabrication side, is a little bit behind, and it's going to hurt me. I'm the one that's going to. It's going to make the last couple of days before, prior to SEMA, hell for me, honestly. But I've just made peace with it because you know what? There's going to be a running car at SEMA. That I have no doubt. It's just going to be how polished is it. Isaiah is a god of welding. I'll show you up close how beautiful it is. Logan, variable exhaust, no. And this is a secret for Patreon. The turbo is going to sit kind of roughly in the same spot, but for right now, because it's going to be a 5-inch exhaust, we don't have the ability to put a 5-inch exhaust through the center of the car. There's just no space for that right now. So for SEMA, we're going to do the obnoxious SEMA thing where it just comes out of the turbo and goes up. And it's going to look like some sort of teardrop, some sort of rotor, some sort of shape that just means business. So we're going to use SEMA to our advantage and just make it simple. So it's not even long enough to be a cutout out of the side of the car. It's just straight up. And I think that'll get people's attention, but really it's buying us time to instead of finishing the whole exhaust. Yeah, this is crazy. There's a lot of work to be done. I want to show you guys something else. Over here. There we go. We finally have the right belt. The alternator's in the right spot. The oil pump is close to the right spot. And I'll show you why. Down here, the tube chassis and the bottom of this are both at the same level. So 1 3/4 inches up is where the tube chassis will be. This is going to hit right now. So I do need to bring this up a little bit more. These bolts will just get moved a little bit. But I've got all the right belts necessary to move this system. These high torque drive belts are nuts. So you're supposed to have a little bit of deflection, about 1 inch. And I mean, look at that. Those dimples, those ripples, that's just pulling that whole system along. So no question of that there. I might add like a tensioner there, but we already got enough tension on the main pulley. That's amazing. Also, a couple other things that are going to be like you see it here first. That's the original oil filter, the 6-inch one. They sent me a second one. I bought that one. This one they sent me because the people were saying how nuts the videos were with it, and it's got a canister style filter on the bottom because this one is 60 micron filtration, or I should say like screening. That is capable of 10 micron. So this one's to make sure bearings, aren't being shot out of the bottom, and then that one's to make sure that only clean oil goes back into the engine.
Can you give me 30 seconds?
Yeah. Okay. Go for it. He's going doing that. Okay. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, this is it's not stressful. I'm actually loving every bit of this, but it's just intense. It's a very intense process. Sasha, beadlock rims. Those are 19-inch wheels, and here, I'm going to move just so that way I'll answer some of your questions and make sure that you can hear me easier than Isaiah. We're actively working. So those wheels are 19-inch. I designed the car. I designed the suspension to do 18-inch wheels in the front and 17-inch wheels in the back, and those also to be wider, to be 335s in the rear. So that's why when you look at the rear suspension, the wheel's all the way out here, but they're supposed to be closer in, a wider tire and smaller. So that way they still don't hit the suspension, but they can have some meat on them and bounce up and down. When I go for the real meaty tires, drag radials, that's where I'll need something locking everything in place.
Are your keys in your pocket?
My keys are in my pocket. You want my car?
No.
Your car was lit up for a second.
Oh, I think I leaned on my pocket, yeah. Yeah, the CTSV will remote start if I press my pocket the right way. couple weird things that we've had is the tube chassis is supposed to be up to that kind of foot bar right there. Is supposed to be level. Guess what? It's not level.
Nothing is level.
Nothing's level. Not even the ground's level. So it's been weird. But I'll tell you what. One of the greatest things we've done is get everything square. It was the tube chassis is torqued, and you guys are going to see it in a video where Isaiah and one of my other friends, Frank, jumped on the chassis, and you see the whole thing twist because the transmission mounts weren't in, the engine mounts weren't in, and so the chassis had a lot of flex, and I'd be dead if I took that on the track. Okay, you could hear me? Okay, sorry, Brad. What tire? So right now, one of the important things is that Michelin sponsored this car years ago. And so you can understand what sort of stress that is when a company paid me money and gave me tires to help finish the build, and I was just sitting there unable to fulfill my end of the bargain. So the great part is Michelin, like, this is real talk. This isn't sponsor talk. Michelin doesn't even know this, they don't pay for Patreon. They wouldn't know. Thankfully, Michelin has amazing, Sport Cup 2s. So when we're talking like track, like the suspension's meant to dominate at road courses. There are very few tires that would really even compete. There's like Eagle, and there's a couple other companies. The triple eights used to be really awesome. And then, of course, you can go full-blown like Mickey Thompson ET Street radials, which is what I do on the 3-rotor. But the sidewall is very forgiving, and so those would suck on anything but drag racing, like street drag racing. So Michelin's PS4s, they're on there now, are like, the best way to think of it is like hypercar, exotic car, street driving. So it'll blow these tires apart, like almost instantly with the amount of power. Which I'm okay with. That's what I want. I'll overinflate them when we go to do a burnout. I'm going to overinflate these to about 60 psi, and that way there's less contact on the road, and so that way I can't damage the drivetrain when I go to do an all-wheel drive burnout for the first time. So answering the 5-inch oval exhaust, I'll show you something. I already have a 4-inch oval exhaust, and it's still too big. There's a downpipe.
It's over here. I moved it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so this is an oval. That's 5-inch, neck down to 4-inch. That's 4-inch, round, and then all the way to here, that's 4-inch approximately oval. Still too big. And the sad part about that is because the passenger, having a passenger, which it was an absolute requirement of mine, there's no way to get it around any of this. And this part of the chassis is down to the correct low height. So if we put an exhaust underneath that, it's going to hit the ground on the slightest bump. So that's not good. One of the things I genuinely considered was actually running kind of like a AC Cobra or like a Viper, where the exhaust goes through one of the body panel, or kind of the body panel. It's still a structural thing. The rocker panel. And at the moment, that's still not a horrible idea considering we have no other major solution. Yeah, okay guys, this is the other version of Patreon. This is like the members only, the crotch shot. Yeah. Isaiah's performing for you. Yeah, this is the OnlyFans. Oh man, that means you guys are gonna get to see some fabrication in real time, because for us it is midnight, but the guys for the carbon fiber company fly in lunchtime. In a couple hours, and there are 2 people flying in. They're professionals, and then they're flying back out. Okay, here. I was going to use the camera to block my vision, but it's a GoPro, so I'm going to have to kind of keep it very steady.
Look at it, bro. It's not that bad.
Yeah, look at the light. Exactly. You're the.
I'm looking at it. So.
Yeah, that's a little different.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So there you guys go. No, don't do it. So there you guys go. You guys, that's the first live stream, real time welding happening on the channel. So Brad, out by the rear. Okay, you guys want to know? You guys want to hear the first where the ultimate exhaust is going to be? This is going to be a secret for a while. So when I met with Christian von Koenigsegg, one of the things that he suggested was, and we'll look at it from here, and I won't, I'll be able to point, but maybe I can turn on the screen. Okay, yeah, I can actually see this. So on the Regera, you'll see there's a center, what looks like an exhaust on the Regera. That's actually an output for the radiator. That's not an exhaust, unless you want to, hot air exhaust. So the very center triangle thing on the Regera is the radiator hot air. But when you look, and I'd recommend it, Google the Regera, you'll look at the diffuser. There's a diffuser vane there, a diffuser vane there, here, and here. Two of them are slits. They're like these long oval tubes, and guess what those are? Those are the exhaust tubes. And so I think, how sick would it be on this car to have, and Christian suggested it, this wasn't even my idea, and it's not ripping somebody off. If they're like, hey, dude, you need to do this, into the diffuser, building in like titanium tubes, like oval pipes, shooting these wide, or shooting these tall ass narrow flames, like doof, 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 doof. And the reason for that, the benefit for having the exhaust built into the diffuser is that it creates a wall of the air coming out around the side of the car, trying to sweep in behind the car, and the low pressure air underneath the car that's creating the opposite of lift. And so if that air comes in, it ruins the effectiveness of the diffuser. Not ruins, but it affects it. That sweeps back in and fills that in. So when you have the exhaust coming here, he found that it created a shield. There was a shield of air, and so your diffuser became even more effective. So that's the ultimate plan. And similar to the Diablo, I mentioned this before, is that we'll have some sort of resonators. That's what this whole back area is free for, is something to make this car tame. And that might raise some eyebrows. Why would you make this car, of all cars, tame? And that's because that's the exhaust for street driving. That's the exhaust for YouTube. That's the exhaust to not get tickets in California. For family, friends, and women. Taking a girl on a date, you're not going to take it out with the pipe coming straight outside. It's important to know that the goal is to make that exhaust competitive, but to sound perfect. It's a tuning of the sound that we want. That high pitch F1 type of sound. We want to tune that into that titanium exhaust. But pure, all out, holy hell, nuclear holocaust, side exhaust, right out the side, 6-inch, whatever. Just get that exhaust out of the car. I will not have an electronic valve. I won't do that. It'll just be bolt.
Those fail all the time.
Those fail. Even he hates it because they actually fail. I don't have experience with it.
They fail on piston cars, so imagine something like this.
Yeah,
he's just beyond.
Yeah, he's saying that they fail on, because they fail on piston cars because of the heat. Well, a rotary creates almost 400 degrees hotter exhaust right out the bat. So they're going to break. A family-friendly four-rotor. That's right, PG 13. We can say fuck once. Simon, have you thought about uploading longer raw videos, maybe even time lapses? Yeah, so I'll be honest right now. Even with like this live stream, I'm struggling, and the reason I'm struggling is because, for example, yesterday, Saturday, UPS fucked me hard, and I might make that a title of a video only because hardcore, fans and people that have been aware of the adventures of this four-rotor know that UPS did that from the beginning. The clutch, that I posted on Patreon, that 4-disc clutch, I was supposed to have that Saturday to make a whole video series and talk about drivetrain, and that was my plan. That's been my plan for like 2 weeks now, and nothing. It's not here yesterday, obviously. It was supposed to be here before lunchtime. Nothing. Not even like a lost, it's just no new updates. So I don't even know if I'm going to get it tomorrow. And like I have business requirements on that. And so the reason I mentioned that is that I even have just simple plans from now to SEMA, and they're getting screwed up with the smallest things. And so what I want to do is up to SEMA, what I'll try doing is I cut the videos for interest. Like what I'm doing is I'm not cutting content out of them right now. I'm cutting boring stuff out. It is, even if you're a fan of me or the channel, you don't want to see Isaiah welding the same thing for 30 seconds in a row. It's real life. You guys, Isaiah wants to see himself welding for 3 hours. But it's something where you get it. You know that he started welding that piece. Let's guess for the next 30 seconds that he's going to finish welding that piece. So I can watch video retention and watch where people drop off. And you guys, and the general public for that matter, I'll show it from this way because you guys didn't watch this way, starts at 100%, drops down because some people they accidentally clicked on it and they click off, or they close it. And then it levels out and stays at about 50% for the rest of the video. That is a successful video. I can see sections where people skip, like if say like I have a minute-long ad in there, you watch people skip down to 25%, 25% of people still watch it, and then they find after the video and they continue watching. But if there's boring parts, you can tell. So it's something where I will make videos to what you guys watch. It's something like that. One of the things I've been doing, I have 4 terabyte drive, and 2.5 terabytes are filled with just 4-rotor content. I have not deleted a single bit of footage related to every moment I've taken of the 4-rotor, not the final video, the raw footage. So my dream is if this car breaks records or does that sort of cool shit, somebody, it wouldn't be me because it's just weird, somebody would be able to go through all that footage and kind of make a story, like a narrative. And
An autobiography.
The auto means my own biography. It'd be a biography. Yeah, it'd be a biography because I'll die getting the car to 300 miles an hour. It's not on eBay again. Actually, I was just showing Jake, the eBay stuff is actually sitting on the shelf there, safe and away from the rest of the world.
Now they know, bro. Now they know.
Oh yeah, now people
We're
can.
gonna have to move it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move it. Logan, so that's the best question. Am I gonna make content at SEMA or am I too busy judging? I've made it clear that I'll be doing the judging for the Young Guns thing, and really the overall, I'm a celebrity judge. That's a little extreme, but a celebrity judge for the Battle of the Builders. I have requirements of time that I'm required to film for that, and so I'm supposed to, and this is the business side of it, I'm supposed to make like 3 or 4 posts every day with the right hashtags and covering their content. So I do have to cover other people's content, other people's cars, but I've told SEMA, I'm like, I'm bringing a very, 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 very important car to SEMA, and they already knew what it was. That's why they picked me to do it. And so I will be I'm going to be going nuts. I'm not going to be able to go to any of the parties. Even though this is going to be a celebration, I will be going nonstop, editing and doing kind of what I've been doing lately. This is going to be the pinnacle of difficulty. But you know what? Doing the judging, they're paying me to be a judge. And that money goes towards this car. So I'm willing to stress myself out for that. So the cool part is they didn't say what the video had to be about. They just said that I had to make videos about SEMA and use those hashtags. I've got plenty of content to make. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of really cool cars.
Mom goes crazy on stripper with cocaine.
Yeah, I overdose. Well, with 3 strippers. Hashtag SEMA Young Guns. Because most of the content has to be live, or not live, but Instagram stories. So I guess the strip club is the place to do it. So like for example, this is kind of cool shit. I love sharing this sort of stuff with Patreon. But Xbox approached me, and as a beginning, they offered me surprisingly a lot of money. For me, it's a lot of money to stream one of the nights. Like stream playing video games. Like I do that for fun. I normally don't, I don't do video game streaming. That's my relaxed time. I had to turn it down because I'm too busy. My focus is, SEMA judging and launching this car. Really, it's this car, but the SEMA judging allows that to be possible. So I have to, give credit where it's due. So, expect to see my brother. Yes, Brad. Oh my God, I wouldn't be able to do this without my brother here.
We miss him, by the way.
Yeah, we miss him terribly because he's a very competent, amazing worker. He's like a clone of me. Isaiah's kind of a clone of me, but Our skin complexions are a little different. It looks weird. Thankfully, Isaiah and I are in sync. We already knew that, though. We were twinning long ago.
We've been together for what, 3 or 4
Yeah,
days?
we've been together. It's not Facebook official.
Our periods are about to see.
Yeah.
With the moon going on, bro?
Our periods are in sync.
Is full moon?
Full moon, yeah.
I feel it in
Yeah,
my uterus.
yeah. I know. Our horoscopes say the same thing.
Are you
But-
also a Venus rising sun?
I know. Well, Sagittarius, and we're just it's just meant to be. So
Astrology, my way into simplicity.
astrology is something else. I love it only when I'm on a date. Yeah, Kev's gonna be back. Seth's gonna be back, and they're both gonna be at SEMA helping man the car as well. So the sad part is my brother flies in the 1st. We leave the 2nd. The car has to be at SEMA like 2 days before. I can cheat that and do it 1 day before if shit hits the fan. But think about it this way. I have to be at SEMA for a dinner the night before. I have to film a video of this car driving.
You gotta tell him, bro, with the chancellor.
Yeah, the chancellor. The guy that talked to me about it, instead of saying chairman, said chancellor. And Isaiah has been hooked on me meeting Chancellor Palpatine ever since. But the idea is that we don't have time to film if I'm not there. You make as much time. So hopefully my brother gets in and we're just ready to fire it, and then we can film the thing that we unveil. You guys will get it live streamed, but the general public would get an unveil of it the day SEMA opens.
I thought they're getting a video, we're not gonna make it.
That's right. Norway, 99 Spec R. Wow, it's just so crazy. It's just all over the place. Yeah, this is kind of an odd time to stream, but I promised, and it was Jake who reminded me, because like with UPS screwing this up again and things just going kind of wrong, it's been nuts. So tomorrow, I'm gonna release the first video this weekend. Making that whole front bar that you see there and how it fits in with the radiator and intercooler. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. It looks show car-ish, and actually Isaiah was joking that this is turning into a show car when we all know we're gonna put that power down.
You guys tell him why I joke about that because I'm traumatized.
Yeah, he's traumatized from show cars. I am too. I'm allergic to show cars.
You have to give him the whole backstory, bro.
I can give them. I'll give them the cliff notes of the backstory. Isaiah doesn't like cars. At the end, that's the story. No, there's other people in the community that do cars, and they purposely do show cars. And I might hype things up, but I definitely come through, and that's very important to me that people believe that. But some people, they hype, and they're a media machine, and that's what they feel they're good at, and away they go. But the problem with that is that leaves people surrounding them holding the bag on coming through on things that may never get used. That's the problem, is you build these beautiful cars, and the only thing that happens is they gather dust, or they're just too fragile. Or
What about when you build a beautiful, functional track car and it becomes a show car?
Yeah. Like he built a functional track car, and then the car went a different direction, and it's simply a show car. That's disappointing. You guys know, if anything, I have a car that's held together with duct tape, glue, gum, JB Weld, and I'll drive it 180 miles an hour in a half mile, and the floor's rusting out from underneath my feet. I'm not afraid to do that. This car, because I've put, you guys don't even want to know, if I did the budget right now, it's close to $300,000 of my money into this car. And I'm going to get that money out of this car. I am not letting this sit. I have no reason to have it sit here. I want it to go. And so...
We're about to pull this engine mount out.
Oh, you're about to pull the engine mount out?
Yeah, if you want to record it.
Okay, you know what? Jake, can you grab the other camera and just record him? Yeah, teamwork.
Makes
Yeah.
the dream.
Yeah, exactly. I get the idea of building something beautiful, but function is more beautiful to me, and I know it is to you guys. That's I do love like for example, one of the plans with this car was we're gonna put the front bumper back on, by the way. We're gonna have the front bumper, no fenders, and I think I'm gonna pull the doors off for SEMA. This has been a plan for a while because I want people to see what matters, the heart of the car. I can polish this and make it look beautiful and have carbon fiber body. I could have had the whole front carbon fibered for SEMA. Problem is, who's gonna get the attention? The carbon fiber company that came in last second. They're not part of the heart of this car. Bless you, you just ruined my shot. I'm just kidding. So okay, cool. It's carbon fiber, yay! That's gonna take away from the drivetrain, the all-wheel drive setup, the carbon fiber drive shafts, all of the functionality. Like, I could obviously preach about that forever. So, let me grab something. Let me show you guys this. Oh, look at this. Oh.
What? Higher or lower?
I can't tell because it's delayed. Oh, there you are. You're walking up.
What do
You're
I
walking
do?
up.
What do I do with my hands?
Just hold them like that. Oh, okay. You can see yourself.
Little T-Rex hands.
Yeah. Okay, so this is
This actually looks pretty good.
yeah, it's 1080p.
That's better than my TV.
Yeah, and it's GoPro. It's live streaming that quality.
But yeah, so look.
Yeah. So that's the engine mounts. It's I think the camera. The laptop ran out of battery, so I can't see
Wait,
comments.
so this is Bluetooth live?
It's no, the camera is actually streaming to the Wi-Fi,
Oh.
and so it's connected directly. That's why they're getting such high quality because it's going to fiber directly. The laptop I opened up as if I'm watching my own live stream, so I can see the comments.
Oh,
I can actually.
I can pull up the live stream.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
So
here we go.
so Jake's pulling up the live stream
Did your
so we
computer
can
die?
see that. Yeah, it ran out of battery, but the GoPro's still going. Wow, this is the iPhone or the 8 and iPhone 8, and it's at 54% battery. Okay, turn down the audio. What?
You know what'd be good right now?
What's that?
A weld tape.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. Isaiah said in the background, and I'm sure it was very quiet for the GoPro. He said what would be really nice right now is the weld table. It's shipped. There's a company called weldtable.com, and I paid for it, but they offered basically it's a sponsorship because Isaiah has to show leg and show how he's doing all of this work, but they gave us an insane discount on those weld tables where there are tons of holes in them. They have these clamps that hook into the holes. I worked some magic, and so right now he's using see that? What's level when the whole table moves. But I was going to say, this is 321 stainless steel. You use this for high heat applications, but in this case, high strength. And this is not, just so you guys know, anybody looking at it, wondering, this is not the final engine mount setup. It's a clean, pretty engine mount setup, very aesthetic, and it is very strong. But we're going to have a subframe, tubular subframe, going across and bracing the body, the frame of the car. So you can see the other side that he was welding earlier. That's a current solution. It'll look really pretty, and it is functional. But honestly, it could probably handle the power. It's just that if we go to road race this car, the chassis flexes like this because Sano didn't finish it because that was my call. That's not Sano at all. We didn't know where the drive shaft would be, so you can't put tube in there to brace it. We got any new comments? Just make sure. Okay, yeah, no worries. If I plug in my laptop, wherever I think that's in.
There's a power cord right there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, let's go in the mystery room. And my laptop is not over there. All my mess.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know where my laptop cord is at. I wrapped it up, cleaned it, but somewhere.
The laptop was here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, okay. So, well. Oh yeah. You guys get to see this. That's the tube chassis.
Well, I was doing this so that I could weld it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think they know that's not really the tube chassis. That's just a tube.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say, that's what. I'm sorry, it's late.
No, it's mind bending. We make jokes and then sometimes we're like, wait, are you being serious? And we're like, no. So we're gonna use these clamps, and the reason why we're gonna swap away from this ultimately. One of the solutions is actually to drill straight through here.
Yes. Go straight through here, do a solid machine tube.
Yep,
to
yep,
the
inner
inside,
piece.
and then grind this flat so that way this clamp back down, and then they'll go
Yeah.
down.
So kind of similar to like there's a lot of chromoly subframes like that. Not with the outer clamp, but that going through the tube. That's the ultimate plan. But not because we're rushed, but because there's so many pieces being juggled, it's like, you know what? Let's make a really solid version first, and then improve. And so that's actually why I'm kind of happy with how that is. What I want to show you guys though, where's my it's on top of the car. This if you don't get anxiety from this, brace yourself, because this is like an anxiety inducing thing. I have simply written down, and with us having a 1080p, you'll be able to read this, except for my handwriting. On the 13th, which felt like on the 13th, which felt like 5 hours ago, but realistically, it was a week ago. I wrote down every day till SEMA, and so we're on the 20th, right? There's a weekend. We were supposed to have the engine mounts in yesterday. We don't have them in. Oil coolers out today. We don't have those in. We were supposed to have the clutch in. That didn't come in. But the guys fly in for the carbon fiber drive shafts. And so tomorrow and the next day we have drive shafts. No shower tomorrow. Sorry, not enough time. Just kidding. Have we got comments-wise?
Yeah, Logan has the comment of the day.
Oh, he's doing that God's work on that janky table. That's true skill. That's true skill. And yeah, Brad, isn't this amazing? This is live streaming from the GoPro 8. The GoPro's slowly redeeming themselves. Here's where the crunch comes in, and this is where videos might get weird for the public, and I'll probably do more streaming just because you guys are, the heartbeat, the blood pulse of this thing. This horrible drawing right here is a couple delays that we see happening. And that's probably the most critical path. And what this is the header tube. We have special tube being made and bent for making the most beautiful exhaust manifold ever. Billet, yeah, it's 321 steel. It's thicker than anybody else, and that's my love life. And so the reason why that matters is that it can support the horsepower without cracking and heat cycles. And so Isaiah's header is going to be stupid beautiful. But the problem is that was 7 to 10 days, and we placed the order for that. Isaiah, how long ago did we originally say we wanted that tube? Forever ago.
It's been 2.5 weeks now.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah, it's been a while.
The problem is that we couldn't say order. It just nobody really ordered that.
Yeah, long story short, it's a super custom. It's not a traditional metal type.
First of all, nobody uses tube.
And no, it's too, yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why this is a very obscure thing, and so we can't. Yeah, we'll explain it all, but anyway. So the point is, you can tell he's just as passionate as I am because he's all like wants to tell you guys all the details. We'll get into that in the video, but we have 7 to 10 days from when we asked for an update. So hopefully by the end of this upcoming week, the 25th, it's in and it's bent. And then Isaiah can start making it. Because then he's got to make the header, he's got to make intercooler piping, he's got to make the dump pipe and exhaust. So he's just going to be full-time on all that shit. So it's kind of like a linear, he's stuck doing one thing. While, I'm doing wiring, I'm putting the good engine in, I'm not saying I can't fabricate, but it's like that's his role. And so I've got to work on editing, I've got to work on filming, I've got to work on a lot of different things, juggling all at once. So this upcoming week is super pivotal to just everything else, because if we get the drive shafts and axles in, we'll have the oil coolers mounted, the radiator and intercooler are mounted, but we just take them off so that way we can not break things and get into the front of the car. So by the end of this week, we really should be able to almost fire the car up without an exhaust, without the turbo on there. That's how close it really is to firing. The clutch, everything else. So you think about it. We have an engine idling on the stand. So engine idling. We have a clutch that should have been here fucking 2 days ago, and honestly before that, the clutch company kind of screwed me on that. So clutch making, transferring the power to the transmission. Transmission, the good one's over there, and then we have the all-wheel drive system, which is by default rear-wheel drive. So we don't even have to turn that on. We just lubricate it, and then we'll have a drive shaft to the rear wheels and then 2 axles. So that's by Tuesday. So if shit hits the fan, if shit hits the fan, by Tuesday we could have a running car. But then everything else makes it presentable.
Look how silky smooth that this.
Okay, so Isaiah wanted me to show you guys how silky smooth 321.
Touch it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this. I felt I'm a lot of people. The proper color to have, it's not bad to have other colors, but ideally is almost clear or this kind of gold.
Yeah.
And so Isaiah, even
like this right here.
Yeah.
See, that has like no color. Right here.
Yeah, exactly. So that right there. So the point is that Isaiah is doing all that on the shittiest table, and that's how nuts that metal is. It's beautiful, and the coloring matters because if you get it too hot, it ruins the quality of the stainless and makes it weaker. Would we have any more comments, wise?
No.
Okay, yeah. We're,
Start commenting.
yeah. The 5 people are probably falling asleep.
No,
Because
22.
22 are on? Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So, like I said, the drive shafts, we had an issue with the front diff. This thing is like a tank. That diff is a tank. Jake and I worked this thing over, and this version of it has these extra ears that we'll be able to make mounts to. So even more, I mean, if we compared them, they look very similar, but if you look in the videos, this thing the casting's way bigger. And the teeth on the correct gearing are way bigger. So that they say that this rear diff can handle almost 800 horsepower. And it is, it's turned the correct way up. So we should be able to handle a considerable amount of horsepower to the front wheels. So like I said, by Tuesday, you'll see carbon fiber drive shafts, axles. It'll look nuts, absolutely nuts. And you know what? I'm going to back up and I want to show you this shot. GoPro will kind of ruin it a little bit, but you can almost see it from here. Again, the GoPro ruins it because it's such a wide angle, but with your eyes, you see the bullet, you see the missile of the drivetrain, and the fact that the whole car is built around it. That's what I wanted the world to see. That, especially with that being polished or brushed now, you see the start to finish. It'll be the good transmission, the correct engine, and similar to the Diablo, how the car's built around the engine. That's the inspiration here. And so it's crazy. We took off the diff and we took off the steering rack, and this was empty. There was nothing there. And you put all this back in, and it fills in really quick. So I'm gonna kind of wrap this up for the moment, especially for those of you that are joining in today. Throughout the day. We're 48 minutes in, and this new GoPro is still at 42% battery. It's nuts, impressive. I am extremely thankful for everybody. This has been, I'm kind of like, if you can kind of tell, I'm kind of like just like 1,000-yard stare, overwhelmed, but it's a necessary, overwhelming feeling to make this happen. And I could not ask for my life to go any other way, because one of the most important things, and this is real talk, is with Abel publicly firing me as a customer, that allowed the world to know that he wasn't the guardian angel. He wasn't the guy leading the show. And that made starting that engine terrifying, because if it blew up or if it didn't work at the time I said it would fall directly on my shoulders. But you know what? It happened exactly how I was hoping. The world saw that I started that motor. And here's this jack off that just does YouTube videos in some people's eyes. And so being in control of your own future is one of the scariest and greatest feelings in the world. It's there's so many unknowns. The clutch not showing up just actually screwed me over about $5,000. But that sort of stuff is exactly, I'm alive, I'm doing it. And so I am stressed out. But think about it, I could be sitting at home doing nothing. I could be sitting in the front playing Rust, beating up 13-year-old kids and stealing their base. Or I could, be taking control of my life. So we got some good comments? Okay. Casting couch in the mystery room. Oh, it's bad. Yeah, Bachelor. I was on the Bachelor. More intimate show like Bachelor in Paradise maybe. Am I gonna have a functioning sunroof? Yes. Actually, today I took the wiring harness that's above me on the roof, and I took it and set it over there on purpose. So the motor is still there. It's gonna be really dark for you, but the motor's still there and the controls are still there. So one of the PDM features is to have a sunroof. And what else we got? Let's see. Oh yeah, sunroof. What about you do at tuning? Idling, plan on rolling. Morodazole. It's kind of a sick name. I'll tune it for idle and low boost. Am I gonna have Nelson come out and tune it? No. I'm gonna have Elliot from Turblown and some guys from New Zealand come out and professionally tune it. And by that I mean like at the dyno tune, engine dyno, logged everything. I'm already logging everything now. Super methodical, super careful as we go for the high horsepower. But for SEMA and now, I can honestly, the engine's so damn big, I can make 1,000 horsepower on accident. Honestly, I'm being dead serious. That's in my realm of comfort with tuning that car. But it's really about getting the engine broken in properly. Hate to see asking plans for 3-rotor. Love to see a collab with the Vargas brothers when you decide to revive it. Yes, John and the guys have begged me to let them rebuild the 3-rotor. Fact is, I'm not sure if Abel gives me my $15,000 of stuff back. I can move forward on the 3-rotor. I paid for almost all the 3-rotor to be rebuilt. Surprise, and that has not happened. So I'll take my toys. And at absolute worst case, I might take it back to JPR, who built it originally out in New Jersey. Jim from JPR is an amazing guy. Gotta love that skyline life. You're up. Oh, you're Australia. Yeah. Vicious. I'm jet lag from being coast to coast time 2 weeks. Love seeing tube running from start to back. Yeah. I'm gonna freak out every time my phone makes sounds for those Tuesday pics. Pretty sure comments are showing up on that dude's phone. Oh, there. Okay, now they are. Okay, you keep scrolling up. Accomplishment, your self-made. Thank you so much, Brad. Yeah, it's not so much. I think what's important is that YouTube. There's tons of attention. 99% of it's good, and I honestly love the bad attention too. I'm not even gonna lie. It doesn't affect how I sleep, but it's gonna be overwhelming. The general public. You guys have been in on the ground floor, but I'm going to make a video of the car idling, right? I was just telling Jake this. I'm going to make a video of the car idling. Give it a little bit of free rev, maybe a little boost, a little bit of baby blow-off valve. That video is going to go viral, right? But that's the result. That's the payoff. That's not the video. That's not the hard work. That's not this. And so it's going to be weird because this is the important moment, not then. That's more the media, and so it's kind of weird because, like I said, SEMA, I'm gonna be stressed out. And here's the most important part, and this is good for you guys. This is great for you guys. After SEMA, I'm just gonna keep going. Not necessarily this intense, not like super intense, but like every other day videos. And here's why. I learned on the Corvette. The Corvette has taught me so much. I took that week off after LS Fest, right? Because Francis had his wedding, and then I was burned out just from how I pulled like 3 all-nighters with 4 hours of sleep in between them. And the problem with that was I hibernated. I was overwhelmed. We did it. We hit our deadline, and we were heroes for the internet for a brief time. The problem is that screwed over the momentum. As soon as I hid, I had to remind people that, hey, now we're going to go for power and all this sort of stuff. So I had to dust it off. the four rotor is too important to do that. So as soon as we come back from SEMA, it's right back at it and making content and improving. And the videos, the general public videos will help offset the cost of Isaiah. It'll help offset the cost of all the fabrication and custom parts, because it's the small things that are going to kill you on this build. Like, for example, I'm going to need custom wiring, and the switch needs to be here, and the PDM has to be mounted here. Well, the mounting bracket for that, and that stuff adds up really, really quick. Even just like something as simple as buying 5 belts just to get the right belt size. It wasn't a rush. It was just, I don't know what belt size to use. There's $100, and so that's the sort of stuff that eats away at this build. So I think after SEMA, when we have the momentum continuing, I just hope that I can keep that momentum going, because you see how much money is being spent because it's coming in and going out that quick. And so I want to keep that momentum going, because at the end of the day, we all have a finished all-wheel drive 4-rotor to watch. So it's going to be intense, but you guys are along for the ride, right? I don't think you guys will have a problem watching and seeing that video series as it continues forward. So I'm going to check the last couple of comments, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Expect Isaiah to be, they're helping. How much more work is needed after SEMA? Yeah, so Isaiah and I both kind of have an open relationship. We're allowed to see others. Yeah, he mentioned that he likes women, and that's a lie. That's a lie. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So the thing, Isaiah and I are this is kind of an organic thing. He's dedicating a lot of, to some people it's a job, but to him it's not. Obviously for me it's not a job, it's an obsession. And so after SEMA, we're going to continue doing as much as we can. And really, to be quite frank, I don't need to take a paycheck. I've got the computer business to do that. I haven't taken a paycheck in so fucking long, because I'm fortunate enough to have that past in my life. But Isaiah can't live off of my computer business. So no, I can't be a sugar daddy. And so the thing is, and this is what I'll kind of make an appeal to the general public, is that basically they have to keep him employed. so yeah, please keep him employed. I'll put a gun into his head and say it's your guys' call. Downvote this, and he gets popped. So there's a lot of meaning behind that. Yeah, I popped you. Yeah, Isaiah's gonna get popped, but not by who everybody thought it would be. By multiple people. Ended up being by the guy that he thought he could trust. And so the thing is that, like I said, he needs to eat. He needs to be able to continue developing and growing as a person. So that's something where, as long as the build can continue to support that.
I'm not in Spain because I'm here.
Yeah, he's not even at the Lamborghini GT3 Spanish race. Super Trofeo, sorry. I got the wrong class. But yeah, he works on Lamborghini Super Trofeos. And so for him to be here, he's missing out on other opportunities. And so, I'll take him to Spain.
I just want to see the bull.
Yeah, he wants to see the bull. The thing is that, like I said, I'll see if I can support keeping him around. But there's gonna be a point where it's gonna turn into really odds and ends, like small tasks. Paying a full-time fabricator to make a small flange just because I wanted the welds to be pretty isn't justifiable. But to engineer the right exhaust and the diffuser and work on the flat bottom of the whole car, whether it's titanium or whatever, that's worth it. So we'll play it. We'll play it as it goes. I'm going to take on a couple ads the next couple days. One's going to be for these earbuds. They're wireless earbuds, kind of like the iPhone or I forget what they're called. The white ones everybody has. iPods, whatever. They're cheaper, but I took on an ad from them, and another one for a hair product, which is funny because I've been using it for a year and a half now, and so that one, and then Simply Safe. So all three of those ads are going to help support just the sheer amount of money I'm spending on the public videos, and so that's exciting. because it was getting stressful. We were spending almost $8,000, $5,000 a week, more than $5,000 a week, and I wasn't getting in $5,000 a week, so we were depleting funds really quick. But taking on those ads and everything helps, so that way we can just keep making this car nuts. So that's kind of the inside scoop of that. It's been exactly an hour I've been streaming, and I still have to go edit a video to launch for tomorrow. I got 3 videos behind, so wish me luck, and I can't thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough. This is just I couldn't ask for this any other way, and it's very humbling for me to have these guys here, to have you guys here, because as you saw after Jarrett left, there wasn't anybody, and this is one of the world's biggest things. At least this is one of the biggest launches for SEMA, and it was just all me alone. And so I can't thank you enough. So I'm gonna come through on what I've been talking about for all these years. This is it. See you guys.